Hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Megan, the Healing Foods Coach. I hope you're all doing well. It is Saturday, the 1st of February. Happy February to everybody. So, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all had good weeks. I hope you've all had great moments in your life, in your days this past week, whether you are working or you're not. I hope it's all been going well. But even if it hasn't been going well, I hope that you've been finding much improved health. You know, it's funny, we say that often, I hope you have a great day, but that doesn't mean our days are always great. However, we can help make a difference into how great we decide to keep our days going. It's not about the outward things, but the inward things. And what I've realized is that even if you didn't have a great week, perhaps there's been something stressful health-wise, family-wise, with friends. Maybe work has got something difficult going on. I hope in spite of all that, you've had good health. I hope that you have found ways to continue eating a healthy, nutritious diet in spite of any challenges or stress that you may have experienced this week. Obviously, I hope everyone has good weeks, but that isn't always what happens. That is not always life. And just because life does become stressful or can be a challenge, I hope you're all eating well to nourish your bodies. So today's topic, I'll keep it relatively short, is if it works, keep doing it. So that seems pretty straightforward, but as a trainer once pointed out to me in a training session, what seems to be common sense may not be common sense for everybody. So if something is working, keep doing it. And that's really what I wanted to share. I realized that maybe I haven't got any brand new topics to share with you guys. Maybe I haven't got any new tips or tidbits. And I realized maybe I don't have to. If what I'm doing has continued to work for me for 4.5 years, I'm going to keep doing it. So for me, obviously, all the seed oils and the processed sugars and junk food were not working for me. The high levels of carbohydrates, whether they were found in natural foods like fruits and vegetables, whether they came from things like bread and pasta, didn't work for me. So I had to stop eating them. But once I discovered, yes, initially keto, but more importantly, carnivore, and I embraced that, and I really just got my nutrition to a place that was good for me health-wise, it's working. I feel amazing. You know, as I've shared many, many times, and I probably will continue to share, I'm back at work full time after being unable to work physically and mentally for 8 years, after having spent almost 9 years requiring a wheelchair. So it's working for me. And so I'm going to keep doing it. And so I might repeat some of my topics from time to time. Hopefully that doesn't mean you feel that I'm being repetitive or that it's boring. Hopefully I can maybe find some sort of new insight with the same topics. But I know there are people, in order to get likes and views and clicks and follows, who will try to come up with the newest top tip regularly. And I think with some things, following an animal-based diet, whether you want it to be what we call low carb, whether it's keto, ketovore, carnivore, lion diet, whatever it might be within that range, or as I would like to call, and what Dr. Berry calls a proper human diet, wherever you are in that spectrum, it's pretty simple and straightforward. Once we figure out what actually works to help our bodies stay nourished, it's pretty basic. It doesn't require a lot of excess planning or thought. There's tons of videos, great people to follow, by the way. If you're like I was when I first started out and you just want to get as much information as possible, definitely do that. But once you've got the information, you don't necessarily then need to get more and more and more information about the very same thing. You then need to make a decision, right? And hopefully you're going to make the decision to, yeah, I got to cut back on my carbs, or else, in my case, eliminate them, get rid of all the plants. My gut has healed dramatically, and I've not suffered an IBS moment since going carnivore, and it's been almost 2 years. So it took a couple of years for my gut to fully heal. It didn't help that I was still drinking caffeinated beverages. I had to get rid of the caffeine. And once I did that final step, after already removing all the plant materials, and I avoid spicy foods anyways. I cut out all the seed oils, which a lot of things are fried in or cooked in. When you go to restaurants, you don't often get things that are cooked in butter or lard or tallow or bacon grease. It's often cooked in oil of some kind. Could be olive, could be peanut, could be vegetable. Okay. Those things are, if you don't know, and most of you probably do, so bear with me, but if you didn't know, they're full of omega-6s. We get more than enough omega-6 in our diets. We don't need to add more to our diet. It's the omega-3s that are really key and important that we often don't get enough of, typically. Okay, so getting rid of those oils, getting rid of those things that in fact are not helpful, all great starts. And once I got all of that junk out, I felt healthy. I felt myself. I felt alive. I started to feel my brain come back to what it once was as I healed my fibromyalgia symptoms. Now, being fully honest, I am going through the tail end of perimenopause, kind of heading into menopause now. So there is a little bit of brain fog associated with this time of life. It's different. It's not to the degree that it was when I was struggling with fibromyalgia, which was, the brain fog was so bad. That was a key reason why I couldn't work, why I had to stop driving, why I stopped doing a lot of things. I occasionally forget small things now and then, which is a fairly common symptom for what I'm going through. And for those of you going through the same stage of life, or perhaps you're past it, or you're leading up to it right now, you kind of know what I'm talking about. So there's that, which is quite common, versus the severe brain fog I had from the fibromyalgia, topped with loads and loads and loads and loads, like way too much carbohydrates, processed or otherwise. Okay. But I found what was helping me. And so I just, honestly, guys, I don't do these, here's what I'm eating today videos as much, because I eat almost the same thing every day, because I found what I like and I found what worked for me. If you guys ever want to see those videos, let me know, and I'll be happy to make them. But it's pretty much the same thing every day. Sausage with scrambled egg yolks, fried in butter, breakfast. Lunch, at least when I'm working, is a burger patty with a slice of butter, so I keep it chilled, and then I take it to work. So I'll cut up a nice slice of butter off the block, wrap it in foil, put my little burger patty in foil, take it in my Tupperware container, stick it in the fridge at work. So when I get it at lunchtime, it's a cold patty, but I'm weird. I like it that way, with that slice of butter on the top. So there's just that little bit of extra fat to go with the beef, and that's all I need. And I'm good until I get home for dinner. That could often be ground beef with egg yolks. Sometimes it's a gammon joint or ham joint that's been in the slow cooker all day. Sometimes that might be brisket that's been in the slow cooker all day. Every now and again, it might be sausage and eggs if I'm feeling it, or it could be some diced up cooked chicken breast with a little bit of eggs scrambled together. It depends what I'm feeling. And then Friday nights usually are takeout night, and I might have there's a kebab place near us where I'll get a regular size order of chicken donor meat. So just the chicken from the donor, no bread or anything, as a portion. And that's usually enough to give me, that's usually a big enough portion that's dinner for that night. Plus I got a chunk of it left over, and I'll have that for breakfast or lunch the next day, usually. Okay. That's basically what I eat regularly, like on the regular. Very little changes for me. Every once in a while, I might have some steak, or, if we're at a restaurant, I might get like their supreme burger that comes with the burger with the fried eggs, some cheese, some bacon, and brisket. There's a place we went recently that was, so good. Anyways, so that's me. I normally eat the exact same thing every day. And I don't find it boring. I don't find it restrictive. I find it freeing, because I know exactly what I'm making myself for that meal. And then everyone else's meals is whatever I've taken out of the freezer that we brought home from the butcher. So I eat almost the same thing every day. And that works for me. And I love it. And so I don't do a whole lot of these. Come shopping with me. I have some, you'll see in my little shorts, there's clips of me running to, doing grocery store runs where I'm getting like butter and eggs and ground beef, because the butchers can only do lean ground. They don't do the 20% or higher. They just don't. You have to get that at the grocery store. And then toiletries and whatever else, right? My point being, this is kind of what I'm talking about, because a lot of things are just in a steady pattern. And I know some people have a hard time with doing the same thing every day over and over again. And if you ever wanted to ask me for meal suggestions, I have a bunch. Things that you can make carnivore, how to make some carnivore options perhaps more tasty or exciting. Let me know. I'd be happy to offer my free advice. But what I would say to anybody who's just starting out on this is just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. We, as a species, we have gone and complicated so many things in this life that we didn't need to. And if we just kept things simple to begin with, perhaps our health wouldn't be where it is now, right? If somebody hadn't gone back, at, what was it, in the 30s or 40s, and decided that sugar was a great thing to have, we wouldn't have sugared cereals. We wouldn't have sugared anything. If sugar had never been an option as far as almost a whole food group of sweets and candies, wow, imagine how many people would never have developed diabetes potentially, right? If we had never decided to invent colas, or potato chips made at a factory kept in a bag that honestly you could find. If I found a bag of Doritos from 5 years ago, as long as it's not been opened, you could probably still eat it. It would still be considered to be relatively safe to eat because there's so many chemicals in it. So all these things that we've done thinking, oh, this is a great idea, as we now know, yeah, not so much. We overcomplicate things. We don't have to complicate things at all. And now that we've made so many things complicated, it's really hard to pull it back. So I can easily just have a nice cup of decaf, I can have a decaf coffee, just plain. I don't take milk because I'm lactose intolerant. But I remember there was a time where, especially when I was drinking regular coffee, it had to have milk and there had to be sugar and had to have whipped cream on the top or added flavor shots. And I'm not saying those things are bad necessarily, but it's like we've gone and something as simple as a cup of coffee, we've complicated. And so how many people now, as soon as the weather starts to change in October and the leaves change color, do they suddenly go, oh, must have the pumpkin spice, right? Because we make things so complicated, as opposed to just drinking the coffee. And if we don't like the taste, then we don't have to drink. You know what I mean? We do everything we can to improve the taste and the texture. Whereas I think it's a pretty clear sign to us that if we don't like it as it appears naturally, then we don't actually like it, and we need to stop trying to dress it up so that we can enjoy it. Right? So here's an example. I know somebody who doesn't mind eggs as long as they're scrambled. Fine. Not a problem. But you won't eat eggs any other way. And that's totally fine. Some people are like that. That's totally not an issue. But she had said if you were to serve her eggs that were hard fried, kind of broken up, but had all kinds of like hollandaise or some kind of sauce on the top, she'd eat that because she also enjoys the sauce, as opposed to just accepting the fact that she doesn't like eggs unless they're scrambled. Why not? Why do we have to complicate things? If it's working, just keep doing it. I guess that's my mantra for this year is, I've been walking, I take a 15 or so minute walk around my neighborhood every morning, or almost every morning. A few mornings it was too wet out, so I didn't. But otherwise, every single morning I do that. That just gives me an extra bit of energy, gets me ready for my day at work. And I enjoy it. And I just gets my body, the last little bit of stiffness out, gets me moving, and I feel great. And then today I had the thought of maybe I should get to the gym too, and I should get to the pool. And why don't I start walking like a couple of miles at a go? Why? What I'm doing is working. I should just keep doing it, right? So I hope that's helpful. Just to say to you guys, we don't. I'm terrible. I'm notorious in my house for making things more complicated than they have to be. So my new goal going forward, especially now and for the rest of the year and moving on, is to keep things simple. If it's working, just do it. Don't have to make all these changes or come up with the latest tip or trick or hack. If what I'm doing is working, just stick with it. And that's, I think, the key to success, especially when you're first starting out on this way of eating, is just if you find something that's working, that and when I say working, I don't mean that you enjoy and that it tastes good, because we could say that about all the junk food we used to eat, right? But if it's working as far as helping you get healthy and feel healthy and energized because you're actually getting nutrition from the food, just keep doing that. Even if that looks like the same meals repeatedly, that's okay. If it's working, keep doing it. You don't feel like you have to try the latest this or that just because someone might say, well, I eat 2 ribeyes a day. Doesn't mean you have to if you don't like them, right? If you enjoy ground beef or poultry or pork and that's working for you, keep going. That would be my overall message and lesson for today, if you will. Anyways, guys, that is it for me today. I just wanted to share that. Hopefully that is helpful in some way. I don't know. Maybe that helps. Maybe that's encouraging. I hope it is. That's the point. Hope you're all doing well. Feel free to leave me comments and any questions in the comments section, and I will respond to them, because I respond to everybody who reaches out. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, taking time out of your days to watch my little videos. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that's it for me. All the best for the week ahead, and I will see you guys next time with more content when I make the next video. Bye for now.